Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Revel Shorty, and today we are going to look at the biggest release of the week, no matter how you measure it, Paranoid Gardens by Gerard Way. You've probably heard of him. He was in that band. They did that song about teenagers being absolutely terrifying. Great song, very funny, love it. Recently he's also become a bit of a writer, doing comic book stuff, and I say a bit of a writer, I'm underselling it there. He's responsible for an awful lot of comic books. The one you've probably heard of if you're unfamiliar with his work is Umbrella Academy. You've probably heard of that because it got made into a TV show. But that's not all he's done. He's also done a couple of comic book spin-offs from the MCR album, True Lies Fabulous Killjoys, which is not only my favourite album of theirs, but also my favourite writing of his he's done as well. Not just that, though. In an imprint he had for DC Comics, he did Cave Cast and a Cybernetic Eye, some Milk War stuff which ties into Doom Patrol, and it's his Doom Patrol stuff which is probably the closest I can find to what's going on here. And it is worth pointing out, I suppose, that some people might be watching thinking, well, I'm just going to get it anyway because Gerard Way, and that's cool. Totally fine. Gerard Way is a fantastic creative person, and I can't criticise. I'm buying a Bruce Dickinson comic book, so I'm a metalhead, so it's absolutely fine. But if you're interested in why I think this is one that's worth talking about, stick around. Because the Doom Patrol comparison is worthwhile. He absolutely adores Grant Morrison, and who can blame him? Grant Morrison is the best, and that was always like a love letter to them. Also, a very good idea of how you should approach ensemble cast stories. Make the story about the cast, make it about the characters. The story itself will come together based on how good the characters are, and you get the sense of that in here. But mostly what you get from issue 1 of Paranoid Gardens is a mystery. And I don't mean that in the terms of like a crime fiction, murder mystery, whodunit kind of. Even the most complicated, well-rounded, intricate stories along those lines never have as many threads as have been dropped in just this first issue. And when I say, like, mysteries and multiple threads, I mean like from the ground up. Like, it's set in, I want to say, a convalescent home for maybe superheroes, or maybe aliens, maybe interplanetary or interdimensional beings, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm really not sure, because by the end of it, we get the impression that it might actually be a sentient creature that's actually got a building wrapped around it, but it also might be imprisoned there, because we don't know if the person who runs the place, I say person, alien, creature, thingy, is good or evil. And they might be evil because, let's face it, they keep using this absolutely terrible ventriloquist who's really bad at his job, and these people are trying to get better. It's just not right. And if all the stuff I've just said is confusing you a little bit, congratulations, you're now set up and ready to go. Because not just that, but our main character, that person right there, has no memories before she started working at this convalescent home. She also occasionally has moments where she goes into psychedelic imaginings, also maybe has superpowers, and just so you know, her psychedelic imaginings, lack of memory, potential superpowers, never explained if those things are connected at all. We do know when an actual super person turns up, don't it's a hero or a villain, they recognise her, but again, that's never explained. And those are just the big mysteries. We've also got the fact that these characters, we don't know who they are or where they're from, we don't know why they employ a ghost as a janitor. We don't know what was happening with the superhero before he came to where he is. I can't see a superhero. It's shorthand. He might be a supervillain. I don't know. We don't know anything about how these interplanetary or interdimensional beings came to this planet. We don't know what version of our reality or any reality this is. The entire thing is set up to make you want to come back next week. And I've got to say, it really does that. I am so bamboozled that I really need to keep reading to find out what's going on. And don't get me wrong, some comic writers would do a bad job of this. They would just throw so much crap at the wall and trust that that'd be enough to make you come back. Gerard Way is better than that, and he actually writes a really condensed character study on a few different people, and makes you genuinely care about how they know each other and what their relationship is and what will happen to them moving onwards. Couple that with the fact that Sean Simon and Chris Weston do absolutely spectacular artwork. Like, really superbly good. The level of detail is almost like Brian Bolland-esque, which is also very cool to be working with Gerard Way for doing this kind of thing. And it comes alive with the colours. There are times when the cover alone, like that, there's a lot of green there. If you get your hands on a copy of this yourself, really take the time to look at how every single leaf is individually drawn, how intricate it all is, how they work against each other. There is like an actual depth to the hedge that is there. And it's done not by the line work, but also the colouring as well. Throw into that the mix of the fact that we're dealing with non-human characters. The character design has to be on point. I think there's maybe one or two times when I think because it's more of a background detail, it loses something. But I'd rather that than it be too overwhelming. And it could run the risk of that. The level of detail here, it could be too much, but it isn't. It's perfectly balanced, and I can't wait to see what happens next. That's it for this review. We've got more coming out this week, a bunch of stuff, including stuff which is on my pull list, so hopefully some good ones as well. Until I see you all again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!